Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a very special Lords of the Night. With me, as always, your Lord of Punishment. Say hello, Scribe.
Hello, Scribe.
And your Lord of Pennies. Say hi, Satsu.
Hi, Satsu.
And I am your Lord of Pain, the Ranting Monkey. And do you guys know why this is a special episode?
Is this because when the Maytag man touches Arnold Drummond?
No, that was a very
Oh.
special episode of A Different Strokes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Is this the episode where Nell Carter catches somebody wearing blackface?
No, that was a very special episode of Give Me a Break.
Oh, is this the episode where Tom Hanks drinks vanilla extract?
No, that was a very special episode of Family Ties.
Oh,
You have the special episode part right. You're just missing why this is a special episode.
I just don't know anything anymore. Like the one where Jesse was taking like speed basically and Saved by the Bell.
Well, there was one of those with Family Ties too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Alex had some finals coming up, so he took a bunch of speed. Anyway, no, this is a special episode because this is the night before Valentine's Day. This is the night where men who have not bought their presents yet start freaking the fuck out. Like, what am I going to get this bitch that's going to make her touch my willy? And we're here to help answer those questions.
Yes.
I'm glad you're going with me on that.
Mm.
Before we start, I had a request. Cheryl had a birthday on Sunday, and she didn't tell us about it, but her husband reached out today and asked me if I would say happy birthday to her. And he told me she's 5'4".
She's 54.
She's 5'4". Size, not age.
Oh.
So before we do anything else, we're going to say hi to Cheryl for her birthday the way we do around here, which is with a song. So Cheryl, if you're out there and listening, and I'm told you probably are, this one's for you. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you.
It's too early for this shit.
Happy birthday to you.
Stop it, please.
Happy birthday, dear Cheryl. Happy birthday to you. Good night, baby. I love you too. Cheryl, make sure you touch your husband's pee-pee for that.
Wow.
He did that just for you.
That's a cheap date.
And this is Kyle says, today is my birthday. Yes, we wouldn't mind singing to you at all. Yes, if we would mind singing. Are you seriously asking if I would mind singing?
Satsu, do you mind singing?
I do.
Oh.
Satsu. James Colley, thank you. Like short bus special or special? It is special, James Colley. I'm telling you, hang in there. You are going to love this episode. But we have to do a song again real fast for This is Kyle. It's your birthday. And this one, sir, is for you. And a 1 and a 2.
Oh. I fucked it up.
You did.
I'm sorry.
And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you.
I'm not letting that slide.
Happy birthday to you.
Scribe fucked up the format.
Happy birthday, dear. This is Kyle.
I gotta suffer, so do you.
Happy birthday to you. Kyle, I hope you had a wonderful birthday. I really do. So with the songs out of the way, I have to tell y'all, for those of you who hate my singing, I was upstairs earlier. We had dinner and Pumpkin was there, and she was getting a little upset. She was waiting for her bottle, and she starts crying, and I started singing to her. And she stopped, and she just looked at me and smiled.
Oh.
And I stopped singing, and she started crying again. And I started singing again, and she stopped.
No.
She smiled. So, y'all might hate my singing, but children who don't know any better don't.
Yeah, she was just like, oh, look at him. He's trying so hard.
Indeed, and that's what counts because it made her happy. We are still following our format on this very special edition of Lords of the Night.
That's
Right.
special. Oh.
If you have questions about how to date or have sex, make sure you save them because we'll get to them later. But right now it is the news time, unless you guys have something else to share.
No, I have nothing else to share.
Satsu, do you have anything to share today?
Besides intense anger and hatred, no.
All right. In that case, it is time for our tagline, which is Monkey Dick Jim Jones. Movies, video games.
Oh.
Hit that like button and share our stuff. Scribbles, what do we have for the news today?
I don't know.
It's a very special musical edition.
My brain is dead.
And that's okay. Read the news anyhow.
A federal judge has voided.
Okay,
Paul
cut this
Manafort-
shit out.
He seems angry.
God damn it.
Man, he's calling it a stereotype real quick here. Okay, judge voids Paul Manafort's plea deal, says he intentionally lied to the FBI, the special counsel, and the grand jury. Paul Manafort, quote unquote, intentionally lied to special counsel Robert Mueller's office, breaking the plea agreement that made him the star cooperator in the Russia probe, a federal judge found on Wednesday. Manafort, quote, made multiple false statements to the FBI, the OSC, and the grand jury concerning matters that were material to the investigation, unquote, including his contacts with his Russian associate during the campaign, and later, Judge Amy Berman Jackson wrote on Wednesday. Jackson's ruling is another stunning turn in Mueller's efforts to uncover Russian interference in the 2016 election. More like not uncover so much as make manifest out of thin air at this point.
So, okay, keep going. I'm sorry.
As the first man the special counsel indicted, then pursued as a potential cooperator for a year, sees the end of any benefits he tried to gain through a guilty plea. Manafort was convicted of various financial crimes in August and then cut a deal to plead guilty to 2 charges of conspiracy and witness tampering in September. In all, Jackson determined Manafort intentionally lied about $125,000 he received for the legal bills and another unnamed Justice Department criminal investigation, and about his interactions with his longtime Russian associate Konstantin Kalimnik, whom, while he was in while he was campaign chairman and later. You're using that. Anyway, it's very awkward phrasing. Jackson noted twice in her order that 2 of the topics Manafort lied about, Kalimnik and payments he received for his legal bills, were, quote, material to the investigation, unquote. Manafort is still bound by what he agreed to in the plea, so he will not be able to retract his guilty pleas. But the finding frees Mueller's office from its contractual obligations in the plea, like asking for a reduced sentence for him because of his cooperation. Okay.
Why? That doesn't sound quite right.
Yeah. If the plea, well, if the agreement is null and void,
The agreement, yeah, the whole thing should be okay. But
No,
look, I'm not a
okay.
lawyer, so
yeah, I'm not either. But I mean, if you already pled guilty to it, can you retract it? I guess not. Let's see. Jackson is scheduled to deliver the first sentence on March 13th. Manafort has been in jail for 8 months already. The 2 judges who will sentence Manafort will weigh, among other things, whether he has accepted responsibility for his actions. I'm assuming probably not. Especially not the ones he didn't have to plead to in the original agreement. Anyway, so that was the big, like, breaking news, top headline, blah, blah, that was happening before the stream.
yeah. All right.
Yeah, so exciting there. But elsewise, I don't have a whole lot of other news. I just have a very interesting pattern of postings on the Washington Post today.
Is this about Ilham?
Yeah, nearly every hour today at a certain point. I didn't look at Twitter every minute of my day during work, but, I'd check out Twitter every little while, and I'd see a news story from the Washington Post, usually an opinion piece, all about or heavily focused on Representative Ilhan Omar. And one of the first ones I saw, I had to scroll back a bit because there were others, was this that made me just, I was actually, and I know this sounds cliche, I was laughing out loud at my desk when I read this. The headline is, Omar fires back at Trump saying he has, quote, trafficked in hate, unquote, his entire life.
His entire life.
Now, I want you all to recall who is saying this.
This is the Somali Muslim woman who has recently been in trouble for anti-Semitism, who came to the U.S. as a refugee and married her brother.
Representative Ilhan Omar rejected President Trump's call for her resignation by accusing him of having, quote, trafficked in hate your whole life, unquote, while she privately has tried to make amends with her Jewish colleagues for her anti-Semitic comments. The Minnesota Democrat who fired back at Trump on Wednesday via Twitter has faced a widespread backlash for suggesting that Israel's allies in U.S. politics were motivated by money rather than principle. House Republicans, who had called for harsh punishment of Omar, forced a vote late Wednesday on a more generic measure condemning anti-Semitism in all forms. The measure passed on a 424-0 vote. Calling a cabinet meeting Tuesday, Trump said that, quote, anti-Semitism has no place in the United States Congress, called an apology by Omar lame, and said she should resign from Congress or give up her seat on the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Quote, you have trafficked in hate your whole life against Jews, Muslims, indigenous, immigrants, black people, and more, Omar, a freshman said in her tweet Wednesday morning. Yeah, tell me again about various relatives of Trump's family at this point. That like his daughter married into and such.
Yeah.
I don't know. Quote, I learned from people impacted by my words. When will you?
I love this. She learned in a day.
Yeah, ever since being called out by the Democrats. Prior, only being called out by Republicans, and it was no big deal, and she kept doing it. Finally, when somebody on her side said, oh, it's a problem, it's like, oh, well, I've learned my lesson. Yeah.
I went and talked to them Jews, the top Jews even, is what Cortez told us. The top Jews pulled her in to talk.
Let's see. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi also complained that Trump has never condemned the language of his 2016 campaign events.
He didn't say anything wrong.
Well, I don't know, because it depends on what you think wrong is. Quote, as I heard the president speaking this morning, all that was going through my mind was Jew-SA at his rallies that he never distanced himself from.
Was that him? Or was that people at his rally?
They shouldn't go down this path. They do not have clean hands, Pelosi told CNN.
So wait a minute.
Real quick. Thank you, Flair Fritz. This insult means so much coming from a Muslim, LOL. Go ahead, Satsu, I'm sorry.
So I'm in trouble for things that I said.
Yeah.
So let me point out something that somebody else said.
Yeah.
That Trump didn't distance himself from.
Yes. I remember when you didn't say those things.
Yeah, I say really anti-Semitic things, but people close to Trump said this, and he didn't say anything about it.
Omar, who has publicly apologized, and plus added a little bit of a backhanded, not so much apology with that being said, let's talk about lobbyists. Has been huddling with Jewish members of Congress to express her regret, according to several Democrats. Prioritizing Jewish members of the freshman class, Omar is lining up several face-to-face meetings with lawmakers whom she alienated as she seeks to move past her comments. Her outreach effort includes Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Elliot L. Engel and Judiciary Committee Chairman Gerald Nadler. She also has spoken to Bend the Arc and J Street liberal Jewish groups, as well as national Jewish leaders. In her district, she has been in touch with local Jewish groups and is organizing a roundtable with Jewish constituents next week to hear their concerns.
With all this Jew apology, how's she had time to say anything else?
Well, it doesn't take long to write a tweet, let's be honest.
Well, she's meeting with all these people.
Or scheduling meetings.
And she's doing it all right now, none of which she had any interest in doing before now. But all of a sudden...
Well, Satsu, she just learned what anti-Semitism even is.
I'm sure.
Well, moving from that notion, here's a couple of the stories, or I should say the perspectives, that were just riddled across the Washington Post today. And I just found it so interesting that there was this deluge of stories like this focused on Representative Omar. So here's the first one. How U.S. politicians use charges of anti-Semitism as a political weapon.
Was this written by Sarsour?
No, this is written by Myrav Zonzin. She's an Israeli-American freelance journalist. Now, when I read that headline and I see that the picture is of Representative Omar, I'm like, use charges of anti-Semitism?
Yeah.
Not like, direct pointing to this is anti-Semitic. No, allegations. So already we're watering down.
Of course we
are. Less than 24 hours after Representative Ilhan Omar sent out tweets implying that AIPAC pays off American politicians to defend Israel, she had already apologized in response to a swift rebuke from House Democratic leaders. Just like that. Her initial remark that Republican attacks on her for criticizing Israel were, quote, all about the Benjamins, baby, unquote, did not strike me as anti-Semitic, unlike her 2012 tweet on how Israel hypnotized the world, which did. Oh, okay, wait a second. Okay, so Israeli-American freelance journalist, you want us to know that when she says all about the Benjamins, baby, didn't strike you as anti-Semitic, but back when she was anti-Semitic, that was. But it's not good that they criticized her for this because it totes wasn't anti-Semitic to you now rather than 2012.
Let's consider that for a minute. Jews hypnotizing the world, that is anti-Semitic.
Yes.
Jews are buying everybody off with all their Jew gold. That's not.
I guess. Let's see. So back to the Benjamins thing. It read that way to others, though, as in the all about the Benjamins thing, which Omar stressed on Monday wasn't her intention. She thanked, quote, Jewish allies and colleagues who are educating me on the painful history of anti-Semitic tropes, such as the notion of powerful Jews using money to get their way that some people thought her tweet played on.
Because it absolutely did. Look, I would have more respect for her if she just came out and said, you know what? I think Jews control things with money. Because at least then she'd be saying what she actually meant, which is what she meant in that goddamn tweet. But now, oh no, I talked to some Jews. They told me why that was bad.
Omar did not actually call out Jews, only AIPAC, which does not define itself as a Jewish lobby. Okay. But her critics immediately translated it into Jewish money. AIPAC even went so far as to send an email Tuesday using Omar to raise money.
Oh my God, this story.
Wait a second. Okay. The message said Omar suggested that, quote, U.S. government supports Israel only because of Jewish money, and then proceeded to ask for money. Yes. I'm confused as to where this person's going with the story. But the wider frenzy betrayed the cynical ways that charges of anti-Semitism and claims to be standing up for Israel are so often wielded by U.S. politicians, especially but not exclusively by Republicans. Especially but not exclusively. Well, okay. You have numbers on that? Israel, and by extension Israelis and American Jews, get used as a wedge by pretty much anyone who chooses to pick up the cause in service of their own political agendas. So what were the Democrats doing by criticizing her then?
They were standing up for the Jew money.
The ironic result for a fight about anti-Semitism is that Jews are treated simply as a monolithic object, as a group that's somehow different from other Americans, ethnic or religious minorities.
Boy.
But they want to be seen that if you're classifying yourself under a demographic of X, then you want to be seen as different from others who aren't.
Yeah.
If you're trying to lobby for specific things for you don't have to be an Israeli national to be Jewish and vice versa. But if you're lobbying for Israel, then you're an Israel supporter. That is being classified as something. You want to be seen as that and not somebody who's against Israel. If you call yourself a Jewish American, then you want to be seen as a Jewish American. I mean, it doesn't make you different on a human level, but it makes you're classifying yourself as separate from other people. I don't understand. I'm confused.
It just blows my mind that they see this shit. Like if Trump was in a meeting and he was just like, man, juice is delicious. They'd like, Trump sent out a hidden message to swing to throw some shade at Jews because he said juice, but it sounded like Jews, and we know what he really meant. But then when somebody literally says Jews are fucked up and they do this fucked up thing, they're like, no, you can't really say that that's what they were saying. Here's a clear-cut example of somebody saying something blatant, and they're like, no, people are trying to spin it. But if anybody else says anything else, they can magically turn that into what they really meant, or what you're actually saying here is, or what the underlining message is. We get that shit all the time when people are saying something not even close to either racist or anti-Semitic or whatever.
Literally, they were talking about Nancy Pelosi blaming him for what other people said.
Yeah, but blatant statements is just like, no.
Nah, ain't what she meant.
So, do you remember? Well, maybe not too long ago. I forget exactly what the scandal of the moment was, but there was a lot of people on. I think I don't remember if it was on the left or the right. Either way, people complaining about the whole whataboutism.
Oh yeah,
reflex. It's like, this person did this thing, but what about blah blah blah? As though that somehow exonerates the first subject. Well, hold on. I bring that up because of the next sentence. Some of the loudest voices condemning Omar on Monday have espoused anti-Semitic imagery and stereotypes in the past themselves.
I'm sure they did.
You mean like Omar did in 2012 when she talked about hypnotizing, which you've already admitted to being anti-Semitic?
Ding, 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 ding.
Then she brings up Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. Let's see, called for the chamber to penalize Omar and Representative Rashida Tlaib for supporting the movement to boycott Israel over treatment of Palestinians. But last October, McCarthy tweeted a nefarious-looking image of Jewish liberal billionaire George Soros saying, quote, "We cannot allow Soros and two other rich Jewish Democrats, Tom Steyer and Michael Bloomberg, to buy this election," unquote. He deleted the tweet, but never apologized. Yes.
What?
Oh, yeah. I thought I heard your mouth opening to say something.
I blew on my desk. There was a speck of dust. I'm sorry.
You blew your desk. Okay.
I did. That was what you heard. I apologize.
Okay. So I'm going to move on to the last one that I've got here. Again, another sort of like trying to make anti-Semitism not so bad so long as it's coming from our side of the aisle. This one is written by Paul Waldman, an opinion writer at the Washington Post. I could be an opinion writer. I think anybody could be an opinion writer.
Sure.
The real reason for the controversy over Ilhan Omar's tweets.
It was anti-Semitic.
What's the real reason? It was only a matter of time before President Trump, passionately opposed as he is to any stereotyping or insults based on race or religion, would attack Representative Ilhan Omar over an ill-considered tweet. An ill-considered tweet, you say? That's all it was? Okay. Earlier this week, Trump said he thinks Omar should resign from Congress. Okay.
If this was just an ill-considered tweet, why is she running around telling everybody how much she's learned from the Jews?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. I apologize.
Why is she apologizing for something that was just a little mistake?
Yeah.
Why is she getting roundtables and consulting with people and telling people how much she's learned and telling Trump, why haven't you learned anything?
She's got like the next week of her schedule set up with Jewish meetings so she can learn about all the bad things she just did. But it wasn't really that bad.
But what this whole episode has mostly revealed is how insanely narrow the debate over the subject of Israel is in Washington. Stop. Anti-Semitism and criticism of Israel are two completely different things.
Yeah, she was not criticizing Israel.
Yeah, they are just trying so hard to make what she was doing and what she's done in the past not be anti-Semitism. Oh, she was just critiquing Israel, but people are taking it too serious. No, she wasn't. And she hasn't been. Just ask the Israeli-American journalist who just told us, yeah, in 2012, she did say something that was anti-Semitic. I mean, it's not like, no, this is bullshit. You're giving her cover. You're making something that is about a hateful ideology into a political critique, which it isn't. You're munging these two things together and basically saying it's okay. Anyway.
Did you get the story about her grilling the Venezuelan envoy?
I had that somewhere and then I lost it because Washington Post doesn't want me to read any more articles this month.
There's not a lot to it. She just was questioning what's the hell's his name, Elliot Abrams, and the first thing she does is start off by saying, "You admitted to lying before Congress, and President Bush pardoned you for that. So I don't see why we should believe anything you say here." And then wouldn't let him address it.
Yeah.
He's like, can I address that? She goes, that wasn't a question. It's my time. That was not a question. You don't get to answer that. Like, fuck. But then she asked him about El Salvador. And she said there was a horrible massacre there. And you said that it was it fantastic results or something like that? Would you say a massacre is fantastic? And he goes, this is fucking outrageous. And she goes, answer the question, yes or no. And he goes, no. And the bitch actually goes, I'll take that as a yes. Yeah. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And it is all on video, y'all, if you want to see it. The bitch she is just nuts. She's going to Ocasio-Cortez herself right out of the job if she doesn't shut up.
What was she doing before she was elected? Was she a lawyer or something, or just like
she was a community activist.
Let's see. Managed a campaign for Minneapolis City Council.
Yeah, Pyrus, I can link that to you. Find an actual. Yeah, I don't think she was anything really.
She began her professional career as a community nutrition educator at the University of Minnesota, working in that capacity from 2006 to 2009. In 2012, when she made that tweet that the other lady was talking about, she served as campaign manager for Carrie Dizidik's re-election campaign for the Minnesota State Senate. Then she was a child nutrition outreach coordinator for the Department of Education in Minnesota. Yeah, so she's okay. I mean, like I say, you don't have to necessarily be a lawyer or something. I was just curious as to, did she have any experience prior to this in, like, I don't know, foreign affairs or some kind of lawyers who know how to like ask a question or interview somebody or that kind of thing.
No, but this is exactly what happened in the meeting the other day with the acting DOJ. What's the head of the DOJ? Fuck.
Yeah, fuck. That's it.
What's it? Shit. Sessions' old job.
Oh, you mean Rosenstein? Oh no, Whitaker.
Yeah, Whitaker is the guy who was being questioned, but I forget what the title is. But yeah, all these Democrats. That was not a questioner. That is just a yes. Attorney General. Thank you, Duck Duck.
Oh, okay.
Acting Attorney General. He would go to answer a question. That's a yes or no question. And he's like, well, I'm trying to answer. That's a yes or no question.
Oh, I remember that was it Sheila Jackson?
No, it was the entire thing. Sheila Jackson got the most notoriety for it the other day.
Okay.
But all of these motherfuckers were doing it.
Did you get Jar Jar's super chat?
Thank you, Jar Jar. So does disagreeing with a Jew make you anti-Semitic? No. It's disagreeing with them because they're a Jew that makes you anti-Semitic.
And a bigot in that sense.
And
That would be an appropriate use of the word bigot, by the way.
The other thing you brought up, whataboutism, and I do want to bring up a what about here, because this is something that's not getting enough press, and I think it needs it. Do we all remember the disgusting news media talking about how Trump seems to be way too interested in his daughter?
Oh, that went on for a while, yeah.
This bitch married her brother.
Is it her actual like direct brother? Not
It's
like
yes, it's her brother.
Okay.
She married her brother.
Is this true? Because I saw this. This isn't a conspiracy theory or something. Okay.
No.
Okay. All right.
She married her brother for legal access into the United States, or legal status for one of them. I don't remember which one, but yeah. And then they divorced. But I mean, this is a bitch who actually married her brother. But look how Donald Trump's looking at his daughter. Like, the bitch married her brother.
Is that legal?
Apparently, I mean, for Muslims.
No, I mean, well, if to like, no, I mean, marry somebody to bring them over and then immediately divorce them.
It depends on how long they stayed married, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And it depends on I think is it New Jersey that you're allowed to marry your siblings?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's something like that. But yeah, it's okay if she did it. Because she's not orange. She's anyhow. Yeah, that bitch. Oh my God. It's like she's like, Ocasio-Cortez is getting too much press. I need something. I just love that Cortez came out. She met with the top Jews. You stupid idiot.
The top Jews.
Yeah, all the boss Jews.
You know,
all the boss Jews.
She met with the Jewish Pope.
St. Cloud says, to be fair, I doubt they were having sex.
One can only hope they weren't. Yeah.
Look, I'm going to keep my mouth shut because I don't want to get in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
But I do want to say this is the Sex and Love show. So if you have those kind of questions, save those. We want to teach y'all how to be a loving couple like Ilhan was with her brother. No? Is that wrong?
I'm not touching it.
All right. I assume that's all we had for the news today.
That's all. Yeah, like I said, guys, I know a lot of different things happened today, but those are the only things that kind of jumped out at me.
So with that, guys, we're going to move on to hashtag MSS News. If you have a story you'd like us to read, hit us up at the hashtag MSS News over on the Twitter machine. We can't get to all of them, but that's likely because I'll be interrupted or interrupting. Thank you, Jar Jar Binks. So she met with all the bankers then. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh.
All right. Well, this one comes from an American Celt. Georgetown University students could pay reparations for slavery with a student fee.
How many of them own slaves?
Students at one of the most prestigious colleges in the country will soon vote on whether to fine themselves in order to pay benefits to the descendants of slaves sold by the university more than 181 years ago. The Georgetown student government recently announced a campus-wide referendum on whether to establish a fund for the descendants of 272 men, women, and children sold by the university in 1838. If passed, the $27.20 per student fee would be collected every semester beginning in the fall of 2020. The $27.20 amount is, quote, in honor of the 272 people sold by Georgetown, states the student government resolution. The student body vote will be held in April along with the annual student government elections. The quote, the proceeds of the GU 272 reconciliation contributions will be allocated for charitable purposes directly benefiting the descendants of the GU 272 and other persons once enslaved by the Maryland Jesuits, with special consideration given to causes and proposals directly benefiting those descendants still residing in proud, underprivileged communities, the resolution stated.
Wait. They said this is going to charities for them. Why not just give them the money?
Well, purposes directly benefiting the descendants, charitable purposes directly benefiting the descendants. So.
Who decides what benefits them? You know what might benefit one of them? Maybe an Xbox would.
I don't know.
Well, are these like when they say descendants, do they just mean people who look like them, or are they like actual?
I guess you'd have to be able to show your heritage to one of the. I mean, if they know the exact number of 272 slaves, so you'd have to be able to draw your family tree straight back to one of the 272. I'm assuming.
One, if the college themselves wants to do that, that's fine. I don't care. But none of the students who are going to the school had anything to do with that slavery. None of them.
Yeah, it's going to be collected.
I
from
wish
the
I was
students.
black. Look, there are many reasons I wish I was black, so I could dance, so white chicks would like me more, and so that I could guilt white people into just giving me a shit ton of money.
I've been tempted to use my
You
power
should.
for evil, but
You could get so much. Just look, white people in the chat. Satsu is descendant of slaves. Why aren't you giving him reparations?
I mean, this doesn't actually
Look,
come from. Okay.
Give them to me. I'll give them to him. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Scribe.
Never
This
mind.
doesn't actually come from.
I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
I just told you you're train of thought. Anyhow, so the students are basically it's a tax to pay off slaves.
I guess.
Jar Jar Binks, thank you.
it's a tax to pay off the ancestors.
great grandchildren. Okay, so in the interest of equality, anyone who's a descendant of BLM or Black Panthers can do the same for the violence against whites. That's not exactly the same as slavery.
Let's see. This one comes from Pinkalo the Driving Ape Man. Trudeau's fake feminism has now been exposed. Any questions about whether Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was sincere in his supposed feminism were thrown under the bus alongside former Attorney General Jody Wilson-Raybould this week. Trudeau talks a good game when it comes to his feminism. He basks in the adulation of declaring himself a male feminist to crowds of adoring elites at international conferences and the UN. By the way, this is from the Toronto Sun, so I don't think it's like, it seems more like a National Enquirer kind of thing. He appointed women to half of the positions in his cabinet, not because of merit or fair representation, but because, as Trudeau put it, it's 2015. Equity feminism, which emphasizes equality of outcome rather than equality of opportunity, was all the rage in 2015, so apparently no further explanation was required. But for all the intersectional points Trudeau scored for this stunt, his ongoing behavior reveals that his feminism is as sincere as his apology to the reporter he groped at a music festival in 2000. Oh, wait, he didn't apologize. He said she, quote, experienced it differently, unquote, than he did, and then questioned her mental state. Who knows where her mind was, said a defensive Trudeau of the young woman he groped. This is just a teardown piece of Trudeau. Okay. Yeah. And this goes on for like 2 more pages. All right, you don't like Trudeau, and he's a hypocrite. Okay. There's no scandal here except that you're pointing out things that he's done in the past. Okay.
Right. Thank you, James Colley. For reparations, LOL. Well, thank you. My people were not slaves, but I appreciate the thought.
Let's see. This one comes from Ryan.
Real quick, thank you, Terry Diamandis. My hair is black. Can I get partial reparations? You are an Australian. You owe reparations to the Aborigine gas drinkers.
I'm not gonna. I don't want to look at this one. That's gross. I don't want to look at that story. Sorry, Ryan. It's some lady cooked her husband's penis and put it into spaghetti, and there's a picture of it.
Nice.
I neither want to look at it nor do I want to share it. I just no. I'm yuck. Moving on. This one comes from senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier. 2 arrested for having sex in public near children's parade.
Why? Why there?
They look like they're related to each other.
Is it the Krasensteins?
No, it's just 2 very unfortunate looking people. Fort Myers, Florida. Police arrested a pair of homeless people for having intercourse in public near a children's parade on Sunday. 47-year-old Bernadette Colatarchi and 58-year-old Philip Daly are charged with lewd and lascivious behavior, and it's not their first time. According to a Fort Myers police report, just before 5 p.m. on Sunday, an off-duty officer was driving several participants of the Junior Edison Parade of Lights home after the event in downtown Fort Myers when the children saw the pair having sex on the sidewalk. Responding officers arrived to Main Street just east of the Fountain intersection and found the couple laying down on the sidewalk with their genitals exposed and the man thrusting his hips. The officers ordered them to stop and put their clothes back on. Colatarchi denied they were having sex and claimed they were just, quote, dry humping, unquote. Officers say the couple appeared very intoxicated.
No. Thank you, Jar Jar Binks. Canadians aren't hypocrites, Scribe. We're apologists. That's way worse.
Yeah.
So this wasn't the parade had already stopped.
Yes, it was near the site of where it had been happening. Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't make it a lot better, but that makes it better. They make it sound like, oh, there was kids out there walking. We're going to hump now. Okay.
On the sidewalk.
On the sidewalk. God, that's got to like hurt your ass.
Let's see. This one comes from Necrosol. Another Florida story. Florida school hires combat vets with semi-automatic rifles to protect students from active shooters. Quote, we're not looking for a fair fight. We're looking at an overwhelming advantage, unquote.
There you go.
All right. A school in Florida is taking school safety so seriously that it has hired 2 combat veterans armed with semi-automatic rifles to patrol and guard the campus against potential threats. Manatee School for the Arts in Palmetto, Florida, hired the school guardians to comply with state legislation requiring schools to have at least one, quote, safe school officer. Principal Bill Jones said they have good reason to go above and beyond the minimum requirements. Quote, we're not looking for a fair fight. We're looking for a moral advantage. One of the guards has 15 years of infantry experience, and the second veteran guardian will start working later in February. Jones wanted combat veterans who can be trusted to react quickly and correctly under fire. Quote, I wouldn't hire anybody who hadn't been shot at and fired back, Jones said. I need someone who has been in that situation. The Palmetto police chief supports the use of semi-automatic weapons, something not everyone was comfortable with. Quote, assault rifles, whether you are for them or against them, are prolific in our society, Chief Scott Tyler said in December. So why would we not want the school guardian to have parity with that potential threat? The weapons are not stored on campus, and the guards are required to keep the chambers empty while they are patrolling. The guardian's salaries of about $50,000 a year substantially exceeds the state allocation the school received, but Jones believes the student's safety is worth the cost. 50 grand to walk around the school for a year holding a gun? Oh,
with an empty gun at that.
An empty gun most of the time too, yeah.
If you really want them to be overwhelming force, shouldn't they have like hand grenades?
There you go. Rocket launchers.
Flamethrowers. Jar Jar Binks.
Miniguns.
Disgruntled postal workers don't count, Scribe.
I'm not hiring them. I'm not doing the screening. Let's see. This one comes from Captain Brambles. Pothead sneaks into abandoned house, finds full-grown tiger.
Wow.
A pothead who sneaked into an abandoned home in Houston to toke up made a wild discovery. A fully grown tiger locked in a cage. Police found the 350-pound female tiger on Monday in deplorable conditions and inside a too small cage. The unidentified toker called 311 after making the trippy find. Quote, they were trying to get into this house to smoke marijuana. We questioned them as to whether they were under the effects of the drugs or they actually saw a tiger, said Sergeant Jason Alderette, one of the Houston Police Department's major offenders, livestock animal cruelty unit. Quote, they saw a tiger in this building, this vacant house that's obviously been abandoned for some time. Officials said the house was empty except for several packages of meat found near the tiger. The big cat was friendly but tranquilized as authorities moved her from the home to Bark Animal Shelter. Police said she was kept in a rinky-dink cage in the garage that was only secured with a screwdriver and nylon strap.
Oh,
Yikes. The incident is under investigation. It's unclear if the homeowner will face any charges. Well, I don't know. Animal abuse, owning a tiger. I don't think owning an exotic pet without license is allowed. I don't know. I don't know what the rules are. Let's see. This one comes from Leathery Old Bastard. This is an interesting one today. Mars rover Opportunity is dead after a record-breaking 15 years on the red planet. Do you know how long its original mission was designed to last?
I don't.
90 days.
Oh, yeah, I did know that.
Yeah. 3 months was the only thing they had engineered it to do. At worst, it would do 90 days. It did 15 fucking years. One of the great exploration stories of our time is officially over. NASA declared its Opportunity Mars rover dead today, February 13th, more than 8 months after the solar-powered robot went silent during a raging dust storm on the red planet, and a day after the final calls to wake Opportunity up went unanswered. Quote, I declare the Opportunity mission is complete, and with it the Mars Exploration Rover mission complete. Thomas Zurbuchen, Associate Administrator of NASA's Science Mission Directorate, said today during an event at the agency's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Opportunity roamed the Martian surface for nearly a decade and a half, covering more than a marathon's worth of ground and finding conclusive evidence that the red planet hosted large bodies of liquid water in the ancient past. The golf cart-sized rover and its twin, Spirit, also helped bring Mars down to Earth in the minds of scientists and lay people alike. Yep.
Is Spirit still going?
I think Spirit died.
Okay.
Previously. Let's see. Do they say in here? They might say somewhere then. Let's see. Spirit was no slouch in this regard either. The rover uncovered an ancient hydrothermal system at Gusev. Does it say when Spirit died? If it's in here, I don't see it, and I'm just skimming. So maybe I. Oh wait, so Spirit finally got bogged down in a sand trap in early 2010, and it launched in 2003, I think. So it too was only meant to go for 90 days. So both of them did above and beyond. Let's see. This one comes from Chicago Mike.
Let's make this our last one because I do want to let these guys ask questions if they actually have them for us.
Sure. Ted Cruz pushes for El Chapo to pay for the wall after drug lord's conviction.
I saw a headline. I thought that was a joke.
Let's see. Senator Ted Cruz is proposing a new source of funding for a border wall. Recently convicted drug kingpin El Chapo. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman was found guilty Tuesday of 10 counts, including engaging in a continuing criminal enterprise. The leader of the violent Sinaloa drug cartel faces a mandatory life sentence. Federal prosecutors also plan to seek a forfeiture judgment for the property Guzman gained from drug trafficking. The value of that property is believed to be as high as $14 billion.
There you go, wall funded.
After Guzman's conviction on Tuesday, Cruz renewed calls to use the money for border security. Quote, U.S. prosecutors are seeking $14 billion in drug profits and other assets from El Chapo, which should go towards funding our wall to #secure the border. It's time to pass my El Chapo Act. I urge my Senate colleagues to take swift action on this crucial legislation.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
That would make Mexico pay for the wall.
Yeah, not only that, it wouldn't have to, the Democrats wouldn't have to agree to, but how much you want to bet? How much you want to bet that they would even try to obstruct this? Because they'd be like, no, it's still racist.
Look,
or they'll flip it and be like, they're using the money of Mexico's own wonderful people to try to keep them out.
Do you know how many? Well, actually, a lot of it's probably American money.
Yeah.
Truthfully. But how many people unwilling to work we could pay for with that much money? I'm just saying. With that, guys, we're going to wrap up MSS News. Thank you so much for the submissions, and sorry if we did not get to yours today. Satsu, what'd you do on YouTube today?
I did a stream today.
What you streamed about?
Just updating everybody on stuff that's been going on and shooting the shit. Because I was kind of bored after I got done with all the stuff that I was doing throughout the day. So playing a little Warframe and just talking shit with the nation, and it was fun. Other than that, I ain't really got much else going on because I got a lot on my plate.
Alrighty, Scribbles, what'd you do?
I didn't really do much. I looked at a couple of video potential things, but it was a busy work day, so I didn't have time to do a whole heck of a lot.
Coolio. And I did my Monkey in the Morning stream this morning. Fun stream. But yeah, that's all. I'm looking at maybe doing a mockery video of the Krasensteins. Because they keep putting out their Krasencast, and I apparently it's the Krasensteins according to their Krasencast. My bad, guys. I didn't mean to. Krasenstein. Omar's not going to like you with that name. But I'm not sure how well it'll work. We'll see. It's something that I think could be a lot of fun. Because those two guys, they're cringe as fuck. As bad as their tweets are, guys. If you guys have not heard the Krasencast, oh my God, they're bad. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up the YouTube time. What do we have for the fucketry? Satsu, did you get much fucketry today?
Not really. Like I said, me and Squishy went to go see the ultrasound and all that stuff today or whatever. So I was doing everything I could not to get annoyed by dumb shit. So not really. And the only news story I did see was one that Squishy showed me, but it turned out to be fake. It was a story about some lady who had been slowly eating her husband or some shit.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's not real. So
did she have penis spaghetti?
Oh,
penis spaghetti.
That was gross.
Scribbles, what kind of fucketry did you run into today?
I think the bevy of Ilhan Omar apology tour articles from the Washington Post was as much internet fucketry as I really saw today.
Okay, that leaves me. Huh? That's okay. I actually have some. There's a video on Twitter right now from The Scoop. It's about a Maryland high school where students were caught handing out N-word passes.
Yeah, I did.
N-word passes?
Yeah, they were giving out passes to their friends so that they could say the N-word.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, who is issuing these passes?
Well, according to one of the guys, okay, there were 3 friends, and one of their friends is a snitch, and he's the one that the Scoop has on their little video, and he told them that it was a black and a white guy doing it.
Okay.
And the school has come out and said it was horribly, horribly hateful, and that they're going to take action, but they won't say what the action is. Yes, Rambler, N-word passes. They took the golden ticket from Willy Wonka, and they put N-word pass at the top. Yeah, it's stupid silliness, but to me, it is amazing to me that that you could even make that joke. That we live in a country where you'd have to give out passes for a fucking word. That to me is far more offensive than them giving out a pass for the fucking word.
People paying for these things, or were they just like handing them out?
From what the article / video thing says, they were just handing them out.
Okay, because if they were making money off it, I'd be like more impressed.
Yeah, if they were making money off it, I'd be like, cool.
Pay for freedom of speech.
But I mean, that's where we are, though. I mean, that you can actually do that as a joke because it's funny because it's true.
Yeah.
That's the world we live in. Which brings me to my second story. This one was CNN wrote this one. There's a battle in Marin County, California, because the school district is named Dixie.
Oh.
Dixie School District.
Uh-oh. And the Dixie Cup Company is all in arms over it, huh?
Close, but
Oh,
no, not
oh,
them.
oh,
There's a bunch of people who have decided that that is racist.
oh, because you ain't just whistling Dixie.
Because as this, where's this quote? I gotta find it. Hang on. Um, da, 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 da. But instead, okay. So there's two things that are being fought over here. One is the people who say, it's definitely a nod to the Confederacy because it was named in 1864.
Okay.
And there's other people who go, no, this was actually named after an Indian woman whose name was Mary Dixie.
Oh.
But here's what this one guy who's fighting against it says. You can't tell any black person that Dixie means anything other than Confederacy, enslavement, terror, and death.
You can't?
Can't. So if you know a girl named Dixie, she means Confederacy, enslavement, terror, and death. Dixie cups, those are Confederacy, enslavement, terror, and death.
What about Dixie Kong?
Hey, Satsu, Dixie doesn't necessarily mean something racist. What? I just said that. How the hell did I just say that when you can't? I've broken reality.
I don't know why it was actually named Dixie. I don't give two fucks why it was named Dixie, but that quote really pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell any black person that Dixie means anything other than Confederacy, enslavement, terror, and death. Well, then you're saying black people are stupid, and I don't agree with you.
No, he's saying black people are a monolith, but they're also not a monolith. He's saying right now, all black people are exactly the same and carry the exact same mindset about everything that I say they do. Unless you say it, then it's wrong. Then we don't do that because it'll be racist if you said we did do that. But we do that, by the way. We just want to let you know that. Just don't say that we do because then I'll have to go against what I just said. Science.
I just don't understand how you can be that goddamn stupid.
You gotta enhance your hypocrisy, dude. You need to.
I've tried. It doesn't work. It just does not work. Anyway, I got into an argument with a moron, and it was my fault. It was really my fault because Dr. Goo. I love that that's his name.
Dr. Goo.
Dr. Goo. I forget his first name, but
Eugene. Like a super villain for like a cartoon James Bond analog.
Dr. Goo. Eugene Goo, one of the Trump nutsuckers. He's the one that tries to get to Trump's tweets before the Krasensteins. And he said something stupid today, and I asked him jokingly, if Mueller comes out and he doesn't accuse Trump of anything, will he cut himself? Which really offended some of his fans. To which one of them said, Mueller's already found plenty. Yes, Trump's tax returns too. He knows Trump paid Stormy to keep her quiet so he could get elected. He knows Trump continued currying favor with Putin to gain Moscow hotel throughout his campaign. So much, much more. Stay tuned. If any of you were on the anti-Trump train, stop listening to people like Eugene Goo and the Krasensteins because they're telling you a whole bunch of stupid shit. As far as we know right now, the only thing that Mueller has Trump on in any kind of way would be his campaign not reporting in-kind contributions. Right. That's it. And excuse me. And if that is what he's found guilty of, or that if they come out and say, look, it's this, it comes out to $250,000 would be the amount that wasn't reported. Obama was found to have not reported $2 million. For that $2 million, he got like a $300,000 fine. So Trump would end up with like a and it would be his campaign actually, a $50,000 fine based on what we know now. So prepare yourselves for Mueller to come out and go, yeah, we ain't got shit. Because if you don't, you're going to be sad and you're going to cut yourselves. And you really, really, really need to get yourself in a better mental health spot. And now my favorite thing of the last week, actually. And I only learned about this morning, which made me so very happy. When Kamala Harris went on the show the other day, what was the name of that? Breakfast Club?
Yeah, with something the God. I forget his name now. DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When she went on there, she was asked if she ever smoked dope.
Right.
And she said yes, and she inhaled.
Oh, she said like, yeah, I mean, I'm half Jamaican or something. And yeah.
Well, it gets better. She said she used to sit in college smoking dope, listening to Tupac and Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is funny.
Kamala Harris graduated college in 1986. Snoop Dogg and Tupac didn't hit the scene until after the year 2000.
Oh. Really?
Really?
No, Snoop Dogg was doing stuff in the 90s, wasn't he?
No, in the 90s, yeah. She graduated in 86.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, 5 years before anybody heard of Tupac and
Okay.
Snoop, she was listening to him getting high.
All right.
Yeah, Charlemagne the God. Thank you, Peter.
Yeah, I was going to say, but nobody's heard of him since 2000. Like, no, wait. I remember seeing Snoop Dogg videos in like the mid 90s or something. So
yeah, if you haven't checked it out, check out the hashtag Kamala Harris Rap Genius.
Genius.
Because it is fucking awesome. Like this one here is a quote, I hated that NWA broke up. Andre and Big Boy should have stayed together. Hashtag Kamala Harris Rap Genius.
Oh my God.
Kamala, there was no reason to lie about this. I mean, yeah, I used to get
Hello,
high.
fellow kids.
Yes, exactly. Exactly, Scribe. Hello, fellow kids. Because she did. She graduated in 86, which I was still a child at that time. She's an older woman trying to pretend that she's young and hip. And she's probably never even listened to rap. That is a white girl, I'm telling you. But yeah, she told a fucking lie for no fucking reason. A dumb one. A dumb one. She didn't have to throw in that she listened to Tupac and Snoop at the time.
You know, okay, so here's my question. Do you think she felt compelled to try to hello fellow kids the whole situation because of the questions of her quote unquote blackness?
No, I think she was trying to be hip for the show she was on.
Okay.
That
Because
sounds
it's
more
much
like
cool.
that sounds more like a hello fellow blacks than hello fellow kids.
Well, I mean, I wasn't. Yeah, I guess. All right. Yeah. When I said hello fellow kids, it's like hello demographic. I'm pandering to at the moment, kind of thing.
All right.
Hello, my fellow African Americans. How are you today?
I am Negro too.
Yes. Did she have any hot sauce on her at the time? I don't know. I just don't understand why you would tell that lie. All she was asked is if she did drugs in college, and all she had to, I smoked some dope in college. No big deal. But no, she had to make it that she was, not only did I smoke that dope, I was black about it, man. I was listening to rap that wasn't even out yet. That's how black I am.
I could imagine her like, yeah, I was back then listening to, and then look down at a card in her hand, like, Tupac and
Yeah, remember Andre and Big Boy. Uh-huh.
Yeah. By the way, Miss Harris, around that time, NWA, Public Enemy, even Two Live Crew was coming around at that time.
Okay.
Big Daddy Kane, Kumo D. I mean,
Big Daddy Kane.
for fuck's sake, man. I'm white and I know more than you, you stupid bitch lying about something she didn't even have to lie about. I just don't get that.
The Fat Boys.
Fat Boys. Oh, Fat Boys were great, man.
Yeah.
What was their movie? Disorderlies.
Disorderlies, that's right.
That was fucking great. It was stupid as hell, but it was great.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty much all I had for this fucking stupidity. I don't get why politicians lie about stupid stuff like that.
I mean, why would a normal person sort of to fit in? I mean, it's kind of an immature reflex or whatever, but if you feel uncomfortable or you're trying to make friends, you say something stupid to fit in. And I can understand the reflex on sort of a human psychological level, but not when you're a professional politician who's worked in public life their entire career. I mean, you're a prosecutor. You don't think somebody's going to like check your facts or something? It's just,
yeah. I mean, anyhow, yeah. Unfortunately, that's all I have for the that. But for deep topics / question time, guys. Again, Valentine's Day is tomorrow.
it is.
And Valentine's Day, for you who don't know, is a day men give women things so that women will sleep with them.
Oh,
And-
like roofies?
Kind of, but but not quite like that.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I was scrolling on the Twitter and I found a tweet that referenced this unfortunate bitch. This comes to us from the Lad Bible. Why don't I know this? It keeps popping up. Anyway,
Lad Bible?
Lad Bible, LAD Bible.
Okay.
This woman went on to Britain Today or whatever it is. Good Morning Britain. Good Morning Britain. That's what it is. Sending Valentine's Day cards to someone you're not dating is harassment, says expert.
Oh, so when I took Valentine's cards to my fellow students in my classroom in elementary school, I was harassing them.
Says expert, huh?
Hold that thought, Scribe, because it gets creepier, because I had that same goddamn thought when I read something else she said. With just a matter of hours until Valentine's Day, time is running out to tell that special someone how you really feel about them. But before you go and make your big romantic gesture, sending somebody a giant teddy bear with your face printed on it, you may want to think again, because apparently some people might think you're being a bit creepy. That's according to the sex and dating expert, Annabelle Knight, who says you should only send love letters to people you are already in a relationship with. Speaking on, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, how do you court someone?
Well, let's go on. Speaking on Good Morning Britain, she said, Valentine's Day is a celebration of love. It's just something that is between two people who are romantically involved, whether that's long-term, short-term, or very new. That's where I was like, what about school Valentine's, you creepy bitch?
Yeah.
Sending out Valentine's cards to people who you aren't dating is like cold calling. It's just a little bit unnecessary. It's hiding behind a holiday to express your intent. If you can't say the words at any other time of the year, then you probably shouldn't say them on Valentine's Day.
But Valentine's Day is the day of the year where you express yourself that way, and it's supposed to be part. I'm very confused now.
Well, not everyone agreed, however. Another relationship expert, Charlotte Rose, said she believes Valentine's Day was an opportunity for those who struggle to tell people how they really feel to come out of their shell and confess their love.
Wait, how can you have two experts who say things that are diametrically opposed to one another?
Well, here's the thing. I went and looked up Miss Annabelle Knight and what kind of expert she is.
Yeah. Is she a doctor of something?
No.
Oh.
She's a certified couples counselor.
Okay. So she has a degree in psychology or something.
Not exactly. She has a certificate in, is it a certificate or she completed a course? I forget what it said. In psychosexual counseling.
I have a certificate that says I'm a barracuda in the deep end of the pool.
This is what okay. Here's the reality of her. She is somebody who's claimed to be an expert who goes on to different television shows and they go, okay, she's an expert. She's written one dirty novel and she sells sex toys.
Yay!
So that is our expert who is telling you not to send Valentines to people that you're not already involved with.
Oh, they should put me on a TV show. I mean, by those qualifications, I'm an expert on BDSM.
Now, by chance, would she happen to be romantically involved with anyone?
Well, that's something I could not find.
Because this just screams, I am miserable and can't seem to find someone, so I am going to stop everybody else from doing that as much as I possibly can. That's what this sounds like to me.
Now, I want to ask you guys, of our two dating experts here, which one do you think is the older? The one telling you not to send those cards because they're creepy, or the one who says, this is when you should let love bloom?
Oh, well, that could go either way because you have somebody who's like really cynical and old and lonely.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could have some like super sensitive millennial social justice type that's trying to be like, so I'm gonna go the millennial social justice type.
Satsu, do you want to guess?
I'm gonna do the opposite just so somebody wins.
Scribe wins. He hit it right out of the park with the millennial. It's creepy because somebody talked to me when I didn't want them to. Yeah, the older lady, the one with experience is like, bitch, you crazy. But see, that's exactly why I named this sex and dating experts, because by her, we are definitely experts in the field. I've been married 25 years. I've been having sex since before this bitch was born. So by that, I am a sex expert, y'all. So if you have questions on sex, ask. My wife is not awake to dispute anything I say. And that means I can be an expert tonight. Satsu's married, so he's successfully dated, and Satsu or Scribe over there beats women who let him beat them. That takes some expert level stuff right there.
And apparently, as compared to these two, I'm a promiscuous slut.
You are the slut of the group.
Whore.
He's our slut. No, you're not a whore. You don't get paid, from what I know.
No kidding. I don't get paid.
You're a man slut.
Yeah.
So if you guys do have questions, throw them into the chat now, especially if they are related to anything to do with what's going on in your sex life, because we are here to help. Guys, if she won't let you put the tip in, if you ask us by the end of the show, she will let you. Maybe.
Pat says he's a sex guru. Pat, you be giving out Nuru massages? I know you got a tub of oil somewhere. That shit don't just spawn.
How do you get a pee-pee touch when you don't have a hoe? Unzip and reach down. There you go. Satsu, have you watched Overlord?
that is a dating advice question right there.
That's right. Find you a bitch that watched Overlord.
Toasted asked, does having anal cause you to get AIDS? If you're receiving and the dude doing you has it, yes.
If either person in the equation is infected, then
most likely.
Yeah. Odds are.
Pretty good chance.
Advice on asking out the girl I like. Just do it.
Yeah, that's all you can really do. Just say, and just be direct about it. One thing I always kind of found irritating. Now this might just be me, but I always had a lot more respect for people who came to me directly about an interest or whatever than like getting their friend to pass a note or to come approach me on their behalf or something. Because on the one hand, I couldn't take it seriously that I wasn't being jerked around. And on the other hand, every time that I was ever interested in somebody and got the gumption to say anything, I said it. I just came out and said it, hell or high water, even if it went badly, because I didn't want somebody else speaking for me or trying to go through a proxy. Just do it yourself. If nothing else, you'll get a direct answer real quick. You don't have to guess anymore. And, hopefully they'll respect you for at least being direct.
Well, I don't know. And it sounds like harsh advice, but some of the best advice I've gotten about being rejected is if you are scared of getting rejected, then you need to start practicing getting rejected.
It's true. It's true.
Build a tolerance, yeah.
Yeah, and it says it's fucked up, but like that getting over that hurdle of having to worry about it or constantly thinking about it or whatever, especially in the case where, somebody does feel the same way and you're just like, just ask. If they say no, yeah, it'll hurt for a moment, but it'll get easier from there.
And that is good good advice in anything in life. Getting rejected, failing, it's good for you.
Yes.
You realize it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Just go up to, hey, would you like to go out sometime? And if she says no, you're like, okay. And you know what? It might be a little awkward for you after that for a little bit, but you'll live. You really will.
Yeah, and don't be like, if you get rejected, unless you are really that type of person where you're just like, I just wanted to put my dick in you. I don't want any
Yeah.
other connection other than that.
Right.
You don't have to like dismiss people or like push them out of your lives for that reason. I've had people who I was interested in or whatever, and they rejected me on a relationship level, and we were best friends after that. Because it's just like, we got past that awkward hurdle, and now it's just like, okay, we've established where we are, and that's that. It's fine.
How do I get my girl to do anal? Diamonds.
Diamonds.
Diamonds are your ass best friend. Oh.
So just talk to her about it, man. And if she and be honest about it, go watch one of those things that teaches you how to do it right. Don't just go in dry and just shove it right in, because that will make her never want to do it again. Well, yeah, just talk to her.
Here's an overarching piece of advice. No matter what question we get in regards to approaching someone or telling somebody something, be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
About everything. The first rule of healthy communication in any relationship, whether we're talking romantic or otherwise, be honest. Now, of course, you're going to say, oh, well, there are times where being deceptive or lying is necessary. Yeah, I understand. But as a general rule, when you're talking about establishing a trusting relationship with someone, be honest.
A former coworker got a love note from a client and wanted to call the police on him. Jesus, Sora. That's why we're doing this. Because you should be flattered. I mean, even if you're like, okay, I'm not interested, but that's not like, unless he's like, I'm outside your house.
What if it's a love letter made up of like cut out letters from different magazines?
Now that's creepy. I get that.
Okay. Oh, all right. Okay.
Does being a minister mean I can have my sex partner call me Father Nothing? Ask nothing for you here. Sure, why not? Can never call you whatever you want, man.
Yeah.
Let's see. Are women safe from AIDS during anal? Women are not safe from AIDS during sex because it's an exchange of bodily fluids, and the fluids are going into them. That's what causes it. While on a date, how do you probe to find out if she's into butt stuff without sounding too much like a creep? I'll answer that in a second. Thank you, Jar Jar Binks. First rule of Fuck Club: we all talk about Fuck Club. The world would be a better place if people were just more honest about all this shit all the time.
Yep.
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
The butt.
How do you find out if she's into butt stuff? Yeah. On your first date, probably never. There's not a good way.
Just be like, do you find taking a dump relaxing?
Yeah, that's not something. I mean, you'd have to be really suave to pull that off on a first date.
Yeah, on a first date, unless that was some kind of like opening conversation you had prior to the date, like you met on a butt stuff enthusiast site or something. No, you'll find, okay, if the date goes well and or subsequent dates go well, and shenanigans happen between you and she, or she and he, or he and he, whatever. You'll find that out as you become more comfortable talking to your partner about what they're interested in and such. I mean, unless you're doing like a negotiation thing in a power exchange relationship where that's like a primary topic. But just let it evolve, organically. Now, if that is a requirement for you in a relationship for some reason, and I advise against anybody sort of putting that stark a condition on a relationship. But if that's something you really need to be able to do with your partner, you want to be able to bring that up relatively early into the relationship, because if the answer is no, don't waste anybody's time. And that goes for just about anything where there's a hard stop if you have one in a relationship.
Bodacious T says, thoughts on Tinder, sorry, not Twitter, Tinder, POF, etc. Yay or nay? I'm not a fan of a swiping dating app to pick your love interest, but I'm more of a people. Let me meet you in person and find out if I'm going to like you, rather than, okay, she's hot, let's go talk to her now.
Yeah, the whole Tinder thing, just, I don't know. I'm mildly paranoid regarding the health of my partners ahead of time, because I don't want to take any risk with my body. I don't want to have a long-term, lifelong problem for one orgasm kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I mean, if people want to treat, sexual partners like ordering pizza, more power to them, I guess. It's not something that I'm particularly comfortable with myself. So.
And ladies, you have to realize Tinder is a fuck app.
Yeah, like Grindr, like so many other things. Like Bumble, was it? Was it Bumble? I think that was.
Yeah, it's amazing to me how many women like. I met this guy on Tinder, and all he wanted to do was fuck. I'm like, it's a fuck app. Ebony asks if we're going to help the ladies out too. Yes, and actually, if you have questions about what men think, we can probably answer those far better for you than we can for the guys and what women think. If you could convince one celebrity to become a porn star, who would you pick? Stacey Dash. I want to see that woman getting just banged hard. I want to see her in a foursome.
A celebrity to become a porn star. What's her name? Alexandra Daddario, I think her name is. I mean, she's taken her top off for like True Detective before, but she's ridiculously attractive. She's got these like piercing icy blue eyes and this just great cute face and everything. Yeah.
Before Satsu answers, thank you, Jacob Jet. I don't care about Tinder, but it's better than not trying at all, in my opinion. I mean, I guess. I just think way too many people use it as a booty call. Satsu, is there a celebrity you'd like to see do porn?
All of them.
There you go. And guys, for the record, I'm going in order here. So if you're asking or saying things right now, I'm not going to get to them for 5 or 10 minutes. Monkey and Satsu, are you buying Scribe an escort for tomorrow, or are you just going to serenade him? I'm just going to sing to him. Satsu, are you buying him a whore?
I can't afford a whore.
There you go. Have any of you ladies tried Bumble for dating? We're not ladies. I'm assuming you're asking the chat. Sora wants to know if any of you ladies have tried Bumble. Does Scribe have a hard time hitting a woman during sex because it's hitting a woman?
Because it's hitting a woman.
Scribe, you have trouble hitting women because it's hitting women?
So I just want to clarify. It's not hitting in the sense of it's just a violent act for the sake of being a violent act. I mean, having rough sex or doing something that involves a flogger or some kind of implement or just spanking or something. It's a sexual act. It's not just hitting women. I don't.
Yeah, but contextually, you guys are literally asking Scribe, does he have a problem pleasuring women?
Yeah.
Well, no,
I just want to answer that. This is, and I understand maybe that's not what the question implied, but I get this a lot, and it's not okay. In my case, I can't speak for everybody, but in my case, I don't get pleasure out of hurting women. Period. I'm not a sadist like that. When it's done in the bedroom, when it's done in the context of play or rough play or power exchange, it is as violent, quote unquote, in both intent and effect as kissing somebody passionately. It is an act of affection after a fashion. I know people. It's difficult for people who aren't into it to understand that, but I really want to make that distinction because it's not glorifying violence against women just for the sake of violence against women. I know. I
get the question though, because I am not. You guys know I hitting an ass is just not for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like spanking, I was spanked way too much as a child to find it pleasurable, and it is weird to me that women find pleasure in being spanked. And though I'm not into BDSM, you're going doggy style, you slap her ass, and I've been with women who are like harder, and I'm like, you want me to slap your ass? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yep.
I'm hitting you.
Yep.
But yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I do understand the question too.
I do understand the question, but there's not a distinction that I hear made often enough, I think, because
sure.
There is a difference. There is a difference, and there's the fantasy aspect, and there's the reality of it. And I, not to sound too preachy or anything, but I have very close family members who, in their lives, were horrifically abused. I'll just say it that way. And I, in no way, glorify violence in general, not against women or otherwise. But that's why there's this difference between the two acts. And so I just want to, I know I'm maybe it's not too sensitive about this, but it is something that I've had people have been vilified in my orbit before for being interested in this stuff and accused of, effectively accused of being a criminal simply because they enjoy this thing, or people, or conversely, people being accused of being victims who don't know what they're doing to themselves because they like that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
Okay,
shit.
And so it goes both directions, and you know, I can't explain it at length or psychologically or anything right now or anything, but.
Thank you, Jar Jar, who says, "Come to the dark side with me, Scribe. Welcome to the interesting world of furrydom."
Good Lord, Paul. No thanks.
I think that's a no. Let's see.
I feel fine getting sweaty doing stuff and not being in a suit while doing it. That's all.
Satsu Shelley says, "Just flirt, maybe in a non-aggressive way if you don't want to be creepy. If they flirt back, probably they like you too. Yeah, depends on the girl."
Yeah, be careful because being flirtatious for some people is just how they socialize. It doesn't necessarily imply or mean to be taken as a romantic interest. Some people flirt as a nervous twitch, I've found, just to like make people like them or to sort of like have a conversation.
Some of us just do it.
Yeah, some people just do it to have fun with it, not because they're actually trying to start anything. So just be careful. That's all. Scope things out, take things one step at a time. That's all.
Well, that's why communication is key. Because I know a lot of people, they'll be like, a girl will be talking to them, and after they're done, they'll go to their dude, and they'll be like, "Dude, I think she was flirting with me," and blah 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 blah. It's like that conversation that you're having with him, have it with her.
Yeah.
Like don't go talk about you think that somebody was flirting with you to somebody else and you wonder if that was the case. Like ask them directly, like, "Hey, we had an exchange the other day and I don't want to misunderstand, but it seemed like was that the case? Did I read that wrong?"
Well, you know what? Hold that thought, because this next question is a good one for communication. Yardcoon asked the girl out 3 times now. She never said no. She was just busy because she had a child. What would you say I should do? Talk to her about it. Yeah. Ask her if she wants to go out with you.
Yeah. Or, say I can schedule around, we can get a sitter or something, or whatever.
Yeah.
Be accommodating.
Find out if the child is actually why, or if that's just an excuse she's using. Can you carry HPV with no visible symptoms? Yeah.
Yes.
You can carry a lot of things with no visible symptoms, including HPV. Do boys have vaginas? Because I work with one. No, they don't. Let's see. Jacob says that's a major problem with incels. They act like rejection is the end of the world. Rejection is not the worst thing that can ever happen.
Yeah, it is a fact of life, and there are a fuck ton of women on this planet, dude. Like somebody out there is going to fuck your ugly ass.
Well, being afraid of rejection isn't isolated to incels and not just about dating or anything else. A lot of people are afraid of rejection or failure or anything else. It's kind of a human thing. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Like I said earlier, you have to build up a tolerance for it. You have to take a risk, accept the possibility that yes, this could not go the way I want, but I have to do it to do it. And the first time out is always the most difficult. Taking that first step, as they say, is always the toughest. But once you do it, it gets easier every time. And not that I hope that anybody gets used to failure. Don't get me wrong. It's like, I would hate if anybody's like, "Oh, I'm just going to fail all the time," and they just give up. But, you got to try.
Stacy said, what advice would you give to someone who keeps getting rejected?
Don't give up. I mean, I know it sounds cheesy Hallmark, but it's true. If you don't try, nothing will ever change.
Well, there's a lot of people who find themselves in that position who get rejected. Eventually, and in a lot of cases, those people go to, what the fuck is wrong with them? But sometimes you have to look at the whole picture and you have to really think about like, okay, I'm getting rejected by all these people. I'm trying the same method. Maybe I should switch it up. Maybe it's my approach. Maybe it's this. You know, something like it's not. It could be a range of things, and it really depends on how you're going about it, the type of people that you are pursuing, because that actually matters. Like, if you're, not to say that it can't happen, but you know, if you stay with your mom and you're like 30 and you're looking at movie stars, like
If you're a
not to
2
say you
shooting
can't
for a
do it.
10, man.
Yeah, you know, not to say that it's
But
impossible.
it can
I don't
happen.
ever think it's impossible, but it's just like, that's why you keep getting rejected. Like, it's going to happen. So you need to up your confidence if that's what you're going to go for. If you're going to go for people who you feel are out of your league, or what people would consider out of your league, then you need to make sure your confidence can accommodate that.
There's part of the problem. If you think anyone's out of your league, then your confidence isn't where it needs to be in the first place.
Right.
But yeah, look at how you're approaching it. And what exactly keeps getting rejected? Is that once? Is that 15 times? I mean, there's a difference there. But it could also be, I mean, how awkward are you? And I don't mean that mean, but that is a legitimate thing. If you are very awkward, it's going to come off. So what you got to do, nut up, man. Go up there, talk to the woman like you were as confident as you wish you were. Women really, really respond well to confidence.
Fake it until you make it, as they say.
That's right. Adabisi says, isn't it awkward to stay in touch, or maybe even creepy to hang out with a person that denied your advance? No.
Nope. Only if you make it awkward. It's only awkward as you make it.
Yeah. If you keep hitting on her after she says no, then yeah. Angry Illinoisan says, diamonds could get you killed. My wife tried to suck the life out of me the first time I gave her one when we were dating. Fair enough.
You poor thing.
How do you get AIDS from sex but not kissing? Different bodily fluids that are carrying it?
Yeah, it's carried in the
bloodstream and the sexual excretions.
Yeah, sexual. Yeah. So I mean, now if you kiss somebody with a cut tongue or cut lip or something, it's possible. I mean, the chances are less likely than if it was through sexual intercourse. But yeah, it's through the blood. It's through the sexual secretions.
God, a lot of STD questions.
Chat just jumped, so I have no idea what's going on where I'm at. Here we are. What's with all the incest porn on the internet? That shit's fucked up. Weird people like it. Diesel Dave, thank you so much. Get a personality or lower your standards.
Yeah.
You know what's weird though? A lot of people, I don't know who's uploading these videos, but a lot of people seem to just be labeling certain videos like that, because I've seen two of the same videos with completely different titles. And I don't know. It's weird, man. It's such a weird thing.
I've been, real quick. Thank you, Corey. How do you safely use a plunger in the bedroom? We'll get to that in a second. I've been watching a video like husband and wife being kinky, and then you scroll down and the next one is like brother and sister doing it, and it is the same fucking video.
Yeah, same video.
But, I think one of these is wrong.
The notion, it's the taboo nature of the idea. That's all it is. It's just the forbidden fruit notion. That's why you see some things that are like professional porn, like my stepmom taught me how to have sex or something, or my real stepsister or whatever.
The Taboo franchise from the late 70s, early 80s. I mean, those were huge porns, man.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So it's the taboo nature of it. You're absolutely right. So Scribe, how do we safely use a plunger in the bedroom?
Bless you.
First piece of advice, get a plastic lucite handled one if you're going to use it at all. Don't use a wooden one because splinters can happen and the texture of it can damage that sensitive part of the body. Secondly, you want to make sure that before you buy the thing, that it's got no burrs on it, because sometimes those things are sort of injection molded into a mold, and if they have a seam on it or something that's going to have a sharp edge, you don't want to put that inside. I mean, basically, and after that, you treat it like any dildo. I mean, honestly, that's all it is at that point. Aside from the connotation of using a plunger, the actual handle is, in that sense, just a dildo at that stage. So lubrication, and just make sure it's, like I say, it doesn't have any sharp edges.
And clean.
And yes, yeah, definitely, yeah, clean, smooth, lubricated. That's
There
it.
you go.
That's it.
Matta wants to know if you own a whip, Scribe.
I do have a whip. I've never used it. It was given to me by a friend of mine who didn't need it anymore or never used it or something. It was just something that they had. I'm not. I don't. I've seen a whip being used in a demonstration before by someone who knew what they were doing. Despite what other things I say might be, I'm not interested in bloodletting of any kind. I'm not interested in knife play. I'm not interested in drawing blood or actually hurting someone in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
So I would not be interested in using a whip. I do own one though. That's so more of an answer to your question than you actually asked, but that's my answer.
I thought the answer was going to be a whip.
Okay, well, so yeah, an actual whip. I only own one. I've never used it. As for things like floggers, I own several floggers, but those are different than whips. Those are more for percussion and sensation. They can bruise, and if you don't use them correctly, you could conceivably draw blood. But they're just leather strips on a stick essentially, and so. Yeah, it's all about knowing your tool and being safe with it.
Diesel Dave says, "Deja vu. Didn't we do this last year? Did we?"
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, we've talked about
annual sex talk.
And Snubbert says 95% of incest porn isn't by blood; it's faux incest. It's just implied. Technically, it's illegal, and the few real ones you find aren't listed or are old. Right. Thank you guys for the donations. Yeah, we talk about, I mean, sex is a topic that comes up. We did this not too long ago on Monkey in the Morning. We just had a stream where we educated. We did sex education. It was fun. I don't know how actually education worthy it was. Only 91 likes. Can we get better than that? Asked Jen. We'll see. Scribe, do you use any electric stimulation? Man, now they're really interested in what you do, Scribe.
I have in the past. But it just at a demonstration. Somebody had a violet wand, and for those who don't know what a violet wand is, it's basically just sort of a very mild electrical stimulation sex device. I mean, it's like take a cattle prod and turn it down to like 1 from 20. Essentially, and it's just sort of an electric stimulation thing. Outside of that, though, in my personal life, I've never used any electrical stimulation, and I would want someone to teach me more about it first if I was going to use it, but it's not something that immediately comes to my mind as a desire of mine to experiment with.
Weibo says BDSM isn't about masochism and sadism, guys. It's about power dynamics and control.
Well, it can be. I mean, okay, this is a longer conversation. It can be about sadism and it can be about masochism. There's nothing inherently wrong with either of those things. It's all about proportionality. If someone gets some satisfaction from getting into the role of causing pain, but it's being done in a consensual way and it's being done safely and sanely, that's perfectly fine. Same thing as being a masochist and taking pain or wanting pain and that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, if you're just a sadist without any consideration for the other person, yeah, something's wrong. And if you're just a masochist and you don't care for your own safety, yeah, something's wrong. So power exchange and sadism and masochism can all mix together healthfully. Some people don't know where that line is, and that's where you got to be careful when you're selecting partners for play in that regard. If you're not looking for a long-term relationship and just looking for like a fuck buddy or a temporary setup or something. So one step at a time, basically.
Thank you, Jar Jar. Squire, bring out the cat of 9 tails. No, not the cat, you fool. That's for afterwards.
Oh, God.
Did I miss one in there? Okay, my little alert box dinged me, but I only see that one. So if there's one missing, guys, let me know. Because I don't see it in here. Let's see. Where were we?
Did you check Streamlabs?
Yeah, I did. I don't see anything over there. Do you have anything against virgins that don't have sex for religious reasons? No. I mean, it's your choice. I do say this, though. I do not think you should get married without having sex.
Yeah, that's true.
That is a bad idea to wait until your marriage night to realize you guys are not compatible or you don't like the same things.
Yeah, I went to a wedding once where it was two Christian Scientists, and they had been dating, and they had been a couple effectively for 10 years and had never had sex. And I heard this secondhand from people, but they were close enough friends, and their religion was such that nobody was of suspected they had ever actually had sex together. And so on their wedding night, I'm thinking to myself, and I talked to the person I was with, I was like, man, if they find out they don't have any sexual chemistry, this is bad.
It is.
That would be bad. That'd be the worst time to find out that you don't click.
Or that they don't fit right. I mean, that can
sure.
happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Or that she really isn't much into sex and you really, really are. You've been waiting that whole time for it. And she's like, I don't want to do it again. I mean, it's, yeah. Formerly Rodline says, I'm not a sex expert, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn with 3 hookers.
Oh.
Well played, sir. Where are we at here? Rejection is one step closer to a chick saying yes. It actually is. If you look, sometimes you get rejected. It just happens.
Well, a lot of people.
It's never happened to me, but
they don't think about it as practice as you would anything else. Like if you want to get good at something, you got to practice at it. And in order to practice at it, you will inevitably fail at it. Like that's a part of the process, but they don't think of dating in that regard for some reason.
Well, Scribbles, I've been married pretty much since I was 16. I married the girl I started dating at 16. So me saying I haven't been rejected, that doesn't mean a lot. You know, I haven't hit on women in a long time, other than Lady Monkey. And frankly, she does turn me down quite often. But not for a date. Pyrus says, what if I ask a woman out and she has me arrested for it? Well, then you get to become internet famous.
Yeah.
Then you get to tell your story and everybody will come to you and they will love you and be like, what's wrong with that crazy bitch?
Yep, and you'll be surprised how many chicks are willing to throw pussy at you because they're like, "Oh man, that's so messed up that happened to you."
Yep.
Here, borrow my vagina for a while.
That's female reparations, is what that is.
Oh, jeez.
Mata says, "Lords of the Night, what's the weirdest thing you've jacked off to?"
Weirdest thing?
Phew.
I mean,
God,
I would have to think of it as weird in the first place, I guess.
Yeah, look, I have jacked off just because. Literally, I'm not horny at all. Like, yeah, fucking, I'm gonna jack off. Because I'm a guy and we do that weird shit sometimes. Y'all ever do that? Just like, fucking, I got nothing else to do. I'm gonna beat off.
Yeah, fucking boredom beating is.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm always, if I'm not looking at something that's pornographic, I'm thinking either of something pornographic or some past experience of mine. I'd like, I don't jack off to the thought of money or something. It's like, oh god, you know, So when somebody says that's the weirdest thing, I don't get aroused by anything that isn't immediately or demonstrably sexual, I guess.
Nidarumi said the Young Turks election night meltdown.
There you go. There you go.
No, I've literally jacked it with nothing in mind. Just nothing. Just, all right, I'm doing this. Let's see. James Colley says, getting married and feeling trapped in a lifeless, loveless relationship is the worst that can happen. Who agrees?
Oh yeah, that's.
I feel like a concentration camp would probably be a little worse, but yeah, that's not good.
I don't believe in the concept of getting trapped into a situation like that.
Well, you're not anymore, no. It's not the 50s anymore where like getting divorced never happened. So I mean, you can always leave that.
Yeah, that's why I always get confused. It's just like, and for me, maybe it's like I said, I am a heartless, soulless human being at this point. So it's not hard for me to be like, yeah, this ain't working. Bye. I don't know.
Let's see. Where are we at here? God damn, it keeps jumping. I'm so sorry. Is there a reason to even try to get a girlfriend? I think it's better to avoid potentially dozens of breakups and rejections just to find that one person out of billions. I'm a hopeless romantic. So for me, yes. I love women. So if something, I would never get married again. But if for some reason me and Lady Monkey weren't together, yeah, I'd find a girlfriend, even if it meant heartbreak and rejection.
But there's still a pretty decent, happy lifestyle for people who think that way too, because
Sure.
you'd be surprised how many women I've actually encountered quite a few women that turned me down on the grounds that I was looking for a relationship, because they specifically told me, if you wanted to just fuck me and that was it, then we'd be golden. But you want a relationship, so never. No. I'm like, oh.
And there's always hookers.
Just like, oh, okay. Cool.
Data says, if you're having rough, hard sex with someone in a wheelchair, should you expect burning rubber and drifting?
Tokyo Drift.
I have no idea what this is in relationship to, but Bodacious asked, like a gash?
Wow.
Angela asks, am I the only one who doesn't like diamonds?
Wish you don't.
I think there's some activists for Africa that don't like diamonds too.
Squishy don't care about. She don't really give a fuck about jewelry. I mean, she likes her wedding ring and all, but she insisted that I buy something cheap, and she doesn't give a fuck about jewelry at all, really.
Yeah, there are women out there who don't care about it. The funny thing about diamonds is we treat them like they're this very hard to find thing, and there's actually a whole warehouse of diamonds in Britain because they are so plentiful that everyone could have one and there'd still be extra.
Yeah, there was a time where it was more of a status symbol than it really should be today, because it's not. It was much less common and much harder to attain in ye olden days, but we don't live in ye olden days now, and they're basically mass collected and produced even. So yeah.
Pat says, I had sex with a deaf girl. Did she hear you coming?
Jesus. Slovenly asked if we're playing 7 Days to Die tonight. Yes, we'll be on the open server right after this over on 2 Cents Plus. Don't forget to join us, guys. You can join us in game or just in the chat. It's a lot of fun. Is it wrong for step siblings to date or marry?
Step siblings?
Step siblings, yeah.
I think that comes down to a legal question that might be a state by state thing. I don't know how much distance has to be between people in that regard. I think genetically speaking, you're not in any danger, but I don't know if there's any kind of law against step siblings marrying.
I know a set of step siblings that got married, but they knew each other. They met in high school, and then their parents met after, and they were already kind of fooling around. Then their parents actually met and got married.
Weird.
I think it depends on how long they've been step siblings, whether it's a gross thing or not.
Yeah, if you were raised together, like if your parents met while you were like really young and you were raised together, then that's a little weird. But somebody had asked me that before. Like, if you met a chick and y'all hit it off really nicely and y'all was dating for a couple weeks, and then next thing you know, you came home and your dad's like, I want to introduce you to my new girlfriend, and it's her mom. Would you stop dating? I'm like, fuck no. I'm like, I'm happy for you, homie. I hope you guys are happy together, but I'm not. No.
That was.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, that was one of the weird. If anybody watches the show The Flash on CW, that was one of the things that always kind of weirded me out a little bit about Barry Allen's relationship with Iris, because he basically grew up with her as her adopted brother, essentially, and then they end up getting married and having a relationship and everything. I was like, I know it's not incest or anything. It just always struck me as a little odd.
If we use the Brady Bunch as a metric,
oh god,
if the older two siblings married, I wouldn't have a problem with that because they were already in high school. You know what I mean?
Sure.
If the younger two eventually grew up and married, that would be fucking weird.
Yeah.
Because
not
they grew up
illegal,
together.
But weird, yeah.
Where are we at? I had no idea that Kermit was such a freak.
Hello, Kirby the Frog.
Oh my god. Thank you for that, Dan. Would Scribe find getting cut by a chainsaw in bed as hot? I'm guessing probably not.
No.
What
What the hell is wrong
Toasted?
with
What is wrong with you?
That's
Cut by a chainsaw?
I think that's called murder.
Has anyone had blood come out the tip? No, but if you do, you need to see a
No.
doctor. There's probably a problem
Yeah.
internally. Who's more retarded, AOC or Omar? AOC still. Omar is just an anti-Semite. Is it possible to marry someone you are not sexually compatible? You can marry anyone that you're legally allowed to marry. It's not gonna. If you're not sexually compatible and one of you actually cares about sex, then that's not going to go well.
Oh, sorry. I was about to say, according to the divorce rate, it is possible to marry anyone you're not compatible.
Right. Scribe Light, have you been to dance clubs during your college years?
Sure. I've been to a couple. I wasn't much of a club going guy, but yeah, a couple of times. I mean, there was a couple of spots near the college I went to, and then when I was on summer vacation home, I went to a couple of clubs with some college friends. But I'm not much of a club scene guy.
Did you smoke joints and listen to Tupac?
No, I didn't try marijuana until I was literally 35. On my birthday, a friend of mine brought her a little bit of her stash with her, and I just said, "Oh, I'll give it a shot." And all it did was sort of make me feel the effects of being drunk, but queasy and slightly nervous. It wasn't enjoyable, so I've never done it again.
Toasted said, "Monkey, isn't BDSM liking pain?" Okay. Part of that is liking pain, and it's not pain like there's different levels of pain, man. I mean, you ever stubbed your toe, and then have you ever like broken open your skull? Those are different kinds of pain.
Well, what I just typed in the chat is like, girl, I like being spanked sometimes. Toasted Network. How about being mauled by a lion?
Exactly. I mean, there's different levels, man.
Yeah, BDSM doesn't actually have to involve anything that deals with pain. I mean, it could. BDSM is such an umbrella term for so many different things people might be into sexually that
Indeed.
It really comes down to the specifics of the individual. What are you into? What turns you on? And some people are probably like things that other people would consider BDSM, but they themselves wouldn't. It all depends.
Pincalo says, Luke and Leia, enough said. Now, they were not step siblings. They were actually siblings. And what made that weird, their kiss wasn't weird until Return of the Jedi.
They didn't know, though. That was the thing, though. They have at least a little bit of a pass for not knowing.
No. She doesn't, because she actually says a part of me is always known.
Oh, well.
You can't take that away. She said she always knew, and she tongue kissed that motherfucker. She's a freak. He's not. He did nothing wrong.
Luke did nothing wrong.
Tosa said, "Why are you guys so offended?" We're not offended. We're humored.
Yes,
it's funny to us. We're not offended by it, man. Ask all the questions you want. It's just sometimes, Toasted, you make these big leaps like that one there, where look, somebody likes some pain, so they must like extreme pain, and that's not the same thing.
I like pain. I hope to be mauled by a tiger.
Yeah.
You know what? Is that a thing?
What's that?
Does chainsaw porn exist? Is that out there?
God, I hope not.
What is it? Rule 43 or whatever, or 34? It does exist.
34. Yeah, I'm sure it exists.
If you can think of it, it probably does exist.
Find me some chainsaw porn.
No.
I want to see.
Okay, well, tell you what, you can look up like Texas Chainsaw Massacre XXX parody. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. Somebody's fucking Leatherface. I don't know.
Squishy's over there raising her hand like, I've seen it.
Yeah, of course she has.
She made it.
I think they're rubber, so like when they turn it on, it like goes on the girl's clit.
Oh my God! What
did she say?
They use the chainsaw as a vibrator.
Yeah,
they take the chain
off and put,
I can see that.
No, wrong. No.
Well, there's knife porn out there, so why not?
Oh, yeah, there is. Yeah, there's cutting. Blood
I
play,
want
knife play.
to. Questions have stopped for a moment, so I want to take this time to do some shilling. Don't forget to come over and see us on 2 Cents Plus open server tonight. You can also join us. Information's in the Discord if you have it on PC. Also, this Friday, we will be playing New Dawn. I'm all loaded and ready to go. But more important, we're going to be giving away a copy of New Dawn both on Friday and Saturday. So make sure you come hang out with us on 2 Cents Plus for the game streams. Anything you want to? Do you have a stream coming up this Sunday, Scribe? Have you?
No, I don't. I haven't
Okay.
scheduled anything. I might be hanging out with my sister, so I didn't want to schedule anything.
Yeah, I still haven't seen your other one. I've heard so many good things about the one that you did with Jim, so I need to go watch that one.
Cool.
So make sure you guys watch it. That is over on
Familiar
his
with the
channel.
matter, yeah. Familiar with the matter. It's still up on the recent videos section, or you can take a look at the playlists. I've started a playlist for them since I'll probably be having more going forward.
Drill dough.
Oh God! No, those exist too. A dildo on a rotating thing. Yeah, sex machines. They do exist.
Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, the drill dough. Excuse me. Is your guest still coming on Saturday? What guest? Did we have a guest coming? Oh, I do have a guest coming on Saturday. Who the fuck was that?
I don't know, Monkey. It's your night.
No, Jack Cochran's coming on.
Oh, okay.
Jack, the motherfucking Cochran, will be here Saturday. He couldn't be here tonight because he's on a show with Polly that runs against us, bastards. They do comic book curation on Wednesday, so you guys should check those out too if you enjoy comic books, if you enjoy comic movie, anything comic, or if you enjoy Jack and Inquisitor and Polly because they're funny guys.
I want to go on that show sometime. I have a comic book I want to pimp out.
I've talked to them because Polly said something sad to me today. He said he wants to have me on because I'm the most famous person he knows. I'm like, that is so sad.
Oh,
that is so sad. I'm like, dude, you know Sinatra. He's more famous than I am. What are your thoughts on the Dice Awards? I don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
Satsu. They were asking
Dice
you.
Awards. Is that anime or am I? Maybe I'm off. I don't know. Or
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Toadsie said, I know people that are religious and wait for sex until marriage and never had a problem. Sure. I mean, it can happen.
Yeah. It's not advisable, but it can happen. Sure.
You can buy a car you heard about and it can run just fine. It can also be a piece of shit that doesn't run and has only one tire. I'm just saying. Let's see. What else do we have here? Favorite superhero? Mine is Spider-Man. Favorite is Spider-Man. Old Spider-Man before they decided he needed an upgrade. Spider-Man before the disgusting clone saga. Guys?
Besides Spider-Man, the Punisher.
There you go.
I don't know.
Satsu?
I like Deadpool.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, Punisher isn't technically a superhero, but you know what I mean.
No, he counts, I think.
Yeah.
Last couple of minutes, if you guys want to. This was actually good. I was worried that we wouldn't have enough questions to go to the end, and we got almost to the end with nothing but questions. You guys are great.
His powers being super pissed off.
That's the Hulk.
Have you guys heard of allergy porn? What the fuck? Like people who beat off to sneezing?
Well, there are some people. I've heard of people who have this weird quirk where when they sneeze, they orgasm. Like it's not a conscious thing. It's like something connected, just the way that their nerve endings are going or something. And so some people have that problem, which would be a problem because then it kind of like cheapens the idea of an orgasm.
Fuck that! I would be pepper sniffing all day. I'd be like a coke addict, but with pepper.
Well, I always thought it was weird those one like TV shows on like Netflix and shit where they're like, "This is Emily. Emily has 64 orgasms a day." It's like, God damn. And she's like convulsing like all day, 24/7.
Well, there was this story of this guy who had uncontrollable orgasms, and I forget exactly what triggered it or whatever, but it was just something he had no control over. It just happened Like he'd be sitting around, and he told the story. And I had somebody verify to me this was a real guy. This wasn't a put on. He actually was orgasming during his father's funeral.
Yeah. I
Oh
seen that.
God.
Yeah, because he had
Poor
this condition,
guy.
and he couldn't. And it was like, oh no. And there was one. I remember one lady where she couldn't stop having orgasms. Just like every time, like all the time, she'd have like 200 a day or something, just like walking around or whatever. And she wanted to kill herself because
There was a woman like that who did kill herself.
I think maybe that was the same story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so sad. So sad.
Am I wrong that out of 3 of the Lords of the Night, only 2 of them have a partner and having constant sex? You are wrong. Only one of us is having constant sex. That would be Coat the Walls over there.
Well, that is temporarily not the case, but don't you worry.
Well, I mean, we have the chance at the sex. Thank you, James Colley. Listen to Freakin' at the Freakers Ball by Dr. Hook for kink references. Also, I've never taken anyone's virginity because of responsibility after. I've done it twice, and you shouldn't have sex with virgins because holy God, that's weird. And yeah, don't do it. But with that, guys, it is the top of the hour, and that means that's all for tonight. I want to thank you guys for being so generous. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate all the super chats. You guys are amazing. And how much I appreciate you guys just showing up night after night to come hang out with us and to make this show as fun as it is. Thank you guys so much. Scribe, Satsu, pleasure as always. Everybody come see us over on 2 Cents Plus, where we'll be playing 7 Days to Die on the open server right after this. And your lives make us sad. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.